This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good morning, my Real News Media TV family. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning, and I'm wishing for everyone a wonderful and a productive day. And in the news this morning for July 24, 2023, chaos at a funeral of murdered 80-year-old. Pandemonium descended on the funeral of 80-year-old Daniel Rowe on Sunday as her relatives fumed over alleged interference in the program by non-family members. Rowe was the little girl who was abducted from outside the Brayton Primary School in Portmore, St. Catherine on June 8 and transported to St. Andrew, where she was later found with her throat slashed. She died 2 days later at hospital with tears on her face, her mother Sudine Mason had said. At her funeral held at Portmore Seventh-day Adventist Church, some relatives erupted in anger. Yvette, a woman said to be a grand-aunt of Rowe, was irate outside the church as seen in videos circulating on social media. It is said that politics and her name being left off the program drew the ire of the relative, who became enraged and started loudly voicing her disapproval while pacing between the church building and the compound. It is further alleged that she was angry after she was asked to refrain from speaking in tongues inside the Adventist church, which does not subscribe to the practice. Someone in the crowd that had gathered on the church grounds encouraged Yvette to calm down, but the woman refused and grew even more irate. "Come, family, come. Everybody come," the woman said as she attempted to persuade her relatives to follow her and leave the church compound, even while the service was still underway. "If you don't come with me now, none of you can chat to me after today. Family, come. We want it to end. You know, see politics. Them cut out your family, them, and nobody can say anything. Only minister this and minister that. Them take me off the program because them here say me a woman apostle. They were out of order to take me off the program and put some people where we don't know. A pure stranger and politician," the woman said, ranting on the church compound. "We sat down there as a family and nobody was talking about family. Who the hell you think you are? But we can't speak in tongues. Tell them to take her out and bury her now. They start ignoring family like they are gods. This is politics. She now go down in a politics." One woman chimed in, claiming that family members haven't even prayed yet, and it's pure stranger in front of us. Another woman, who was obviously perturbed, claimed that there was far too much mention of Education and Youth Minister Favour Williams during the service. "I was tired of hearing Favour, Favour, Favour," the woman said. When the news spoke to Williams on Sunday, she rebuffed many of the claims made by relatives and the people close to the family. The minister said she was not aware of her ministry or the government having any influence on the program. She said that when she got to the church, she was given a copy of the funeral program and shortly after was called to the vestry and told that only one representative of the government would be allowed to speak. The pastor of the church informed us that the family did not want to have a lot of speeches and that they would only allow one person to speak, and that would be me in my capacity as a government official. It was agreed by all in the room and we came out, sat down and listened to the service. I was there from beginning to end. If you look at the program, every part of it went through. All the speakers who were on it either spoke or sang and did their part. When I was called, I got up and gave my remarks. I do not know that the ministry had any role in the planning of the funeral other than what we were asked to do. In times like these, the ministry does come forward and support families. This is something we pledged at the beginning and we follow through with it. It is not unusual, Williams told the news. Following the interview with Williams, the government issued a press release saying it had no involvement in the planning of the funeral. Women raped during bar robbery near Mandeville, one dead following similar incident in neighboring parish. Police in two South Central parishes are grappling with a series of robberies targeting bars, with the latest incidents resulting in the alleged rape of two women and the murder of a man over the weekend. In the latest incident in Manchester on Sunday morning, armed men held up a bar in Kingsland, a few miles northwest of Mandeville. A senior police source said about 2 a.m., men entered the bar and held up two women, including a bartender, at a gunpoint. The gunmen robbed the bartender of cash and took $65,000 from the other woman. 3 poker boxes were also stolen. The gunmen then reportedly held the women against their will and raped them. The men then made their escape. The police source said the theft of poker boxes is fueling crime. The men are targeting bars not just to rob money, but the poker boxes are of most value to them. One of those poker boxes value up to $750,000. In this incident, they stole 3 of the boxes and, to make matters worse, raped the bartender and another woman, the source said. We are warning bar owners and operators to comply with the Spirit License Act, which outlines the opening and the closing hours of the establishment. It's 7 a.m. for opening and for closing midnight on the weekends and 11 p.m. on weekdays, added the sources. In the neighboring parish of St. Elizabeth, which in recent weeks has been plagued by criminals targeting bars, police have stepped up their response. A senior police source there said about 3:45 a.m. on Sunday, cops received the information that a farm store and a bar was being broken into in Breeze River. The quick action of the police would have responded to an attempted break-in of an establishment in Breeze River. Upon arrival, a car was seen leaving the scene, so the information is that the vehicle was chased and there was an exchange of gunfire, the source said. There were no reports of injuries. A release from the police's communications unit said 2 men were arrested during the incident after a bar operator was reportedly shot at. He inquired but was met with gunshots from hoodlums traveling in a Toyota Voxy motor vehicle. The men managed to flee the scene. The police were alerted and shortly after intercepted a Toyota Corolla motor car operating as a pilot motor vehicle in close proximity to where the shooting occurred. The driver was taken into custody, the release said in part. Shortly after, a team of officers intercepted the Toyota Voxy motor vehicle in Elam district in the parish. On the approach of the law enforcement officers, the gunmen opened gunfire. The police returned the fire, however 2 men managed to escape. The third assailant was subsequently apprehended. Both men were arrested and the 2 vehicles seized pending further investigations, the police added. This latest incident follows Saturday's shooting death of construction worker Lloyd Cole, 52, during a bar robbery in Top Hill close to Junction in St. Elizabeth. A police report said about 1:45 a.m., Cole was among patrons at the bar when 2 robbers proceeded to rob people. The robbers reportedly forced open a poker gaming machine and stole an undetermined sum of cash. Cole was shot and taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Recently, head of the St. Elizabeth Police, Superintendent Coleridge Minto, sought to reassure bar operators and urged the citizens to continue sharing information that may lead to the apprehension of suspects who in recent weeks have targeted bars in the southwest central parish. Minto told the justices of the peace at a function recently that there was a spate of armed robberies. In this quiet parish of St. Elizabeth, we have men driving around with high-powered rifles. We had 3 robberies recently in 1 week, 3 men with rifles and another with a handgun robbing business establishments at night, he said. We want our citizens to get involved and to share any information that you have that can help us, he appealed. Appeal dismissed for policeman convicted of raping schoolgirl. Detective Constable Leslie Walker, who was convicted in June 2021 of raping a then 15-year-old schoolgirl, has lost his appeal against his conviction and a sentence. The trial judge had sentenced him to 15 years imprisonment with a stipulation that he should serve 10 years before he is eligible for parole. In dismissing the 50-year-old policeman's appeal last week, Friday, the Court of Appeal ruled that the sentence was not excessive and should be reckoned as having commenced on July 16, 2021. Walker had joined the police force in 1997. The complainant was at a bus stop in Portmore, St. Catherine on February 16, 2016, waiting on transportation to go to school when Walker, who was her father's friend, offered her a ride. She got into the car, but instead he took her to his home in Portmore. Walker then invited her inside the house and raped her. A report was made to the police in June 2016, and when the complainant was medically examined, it was discovered she was pregnant. Walker, in his defense, denied committing the offense and said he did not know the complainant. He said he was at the police academy training school in St. Catherine that day and brought a police officer to support his alibi. The complainant's father had testified that Walker knew his daughter because at times when he came to his mechanic shop, his daughter was there. Attorney-at-law Jacqueline Cummins, who represented Walker, had argued that the trial judge erred in finding that Walker committed the offense and referred to inconsistencies and contradictions in the Crown's case. The court held that the judge's duty was to determine whether Walker had raped the complainant, and in totality of the evidence, the discrepancies did not undermine the complainant's evidence in that regard. Prosecutors Janik Forbes and Alice Ann Gabidon represented the Crown. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.